Ever wondered how these products made it to the shelf? It is through a complex process called logistics, which consists of three main stages: purchasing, manufacturing, packing, and distributing. Unfortunately, there have been many environmental issues surrounding these three stages. Hence, companies today have been taking green approaches, giving rise to green logistics. But is green logistics a fact or a fad? Today, we'll start off by examining the current environmental issues present in these three stages. So, before a company manufactures its products, it has to source for and purchase its raw materials. Examples of raw materials that are purchased include wood, palm oil, cotton, and metals. Since the beginning of civilization, the global tree count has fallen by 46%. Currently, humans are responsible for cutting down 15 billion trees each year. Destruction of forests adds almost 8 billion tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year, while peat fires in forests significantly increases greenhouse gas emissions. The farming of cotton also results in massive environmental impacts. Even though 2.4% of the world's cropland is planted with cotton, it accounts for 24% and 11% of the global sales of insecticide and pesticides respectively. Cotton farming is unsustainable as it requires massive inputs of water. For instance, more than 20,000 liters of water is required to produce 1 kg of cotton. After having purchased the necessary raw materials, the company then focuses on product design and subsequently manufactures their products. During the manufacturing process, significant environmental issues arise as well. The first issue relates to gas emissions by the company. For example, carbon dioxide, other greenhouse gases, and air pollutants are generated. This contributes to the company's carbon footprint and pollutes the air in the surrounding environment. The next issue relates to the unnecessary wastage of water as a result of poor water management practices. For example, in 2008, Starbucks wasted over 23.4 million liters of water worldwide due to an internal policy of keeping a tap running non-stop during operations. Finally, the company will conclude their process by packaging and delivering the final product to stores or customers directly. For domestic distribution, road transport is the most common method of delivery. The use of vehicles results in increasing traffic congestion, fuel consumptions, and carbon emission levels. In fact, commercial vehicles account for 26% of the total carbon footprint in Singapore. Moving on, jet and sea transportation are the most common methods of delivery for trans-border distribution. Similarly, the use of airplanes and ships result in high fuel consumption and massive carbon footprint. Jet transportation emits 5 times more greenhouse gases per passenger mile than rail transportation. Now that we have gone through some of the pressing issues, we will now take a look at some of the initiatives taken by companies like IKEA to make their logistic processes green. Green purchasing is the affirmative selection and acquisition of products and services that most effectively minimizes the negative environmental impact over the life cycle of manufacturing, transporting, use, and disposal. IKEA makes it a point to ensure that by end of 2015, all raw materials used must be renewable, recyclable, or recycled. IKEA's long-term goal is that wood used in its products should be recycled or come from forests that are responsibly managed. IKEA suppliers must also deliver a wood procurement plan to demonstrate that all of IKEA's minimum requirements are met before they are allowed to start delivering to IKEA. Under the Better Cotton initiative, IKEA has reached out to more than 110,000 farmers, providing them with hands-on training on sustainable farming practices. This has reduced environmental impact of cotton farming as farmers now use less chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and also reduce water consumption by 50%. At the same time, IKEA also tries to reduce their reliance on cotton as a raw material by using blends such as cotton and linen. To complement this strategy, IKEA also seeks the possibility of using alternative materials. For example, lyocell, which is made of cellulose fibers, have already been used in a number of IKEA's products. The next process in green logistics is green manufacturing, which is a more sustainable approach aimed at minimizing waste and pollution through the redesigning of its products and processes. For its green manufacturing approach, IKEA seeks to reduce pollution by using less formaldehyde-based lacquers like the products over here. This has reduced formaldehyde emissions, which are toxic, by 40% in recent years. IKEA has also enjoyed up to 60% savings in water through its soft pigment printing technique, which is utilized in the printing of its textiles. Innovative design helps to reduce material usage, and IKEA's board-on-frame technique reduces the use of wood while aiding the creation of more compact products.
Sustainable distribution refers to the transportation of goods between suppliers and customers with the lowest possible impact on the ecological and social environment, two of the key components of green marketing objectives. IKEA suppliers have also phased out wooden pallets, replacing them with sustainable plastic or paper ledgers. Now IKEA no longer have to transport empty and bulky pallets through the supply chain.
IKEA is a company that is passionate about flat packs. In fact, it has pioneered its iconic flat pack system, which allows them to transport more products per trip, leading to fewer trucks on the road and less carbon emissions. Now that we have analysed IKEA's green initiatives, let's take a look at what customers think of the company and how they can further improve. Do you think that IKEA is a green company?
I think actually it does. The plastic bag they use is actually those recycle bags, so it actually enables people to use it again or even for other usage. I think it's neutral because I think this is the way most corporations want to do it.
What other improvements would you like to see in regards to their green measures?
I think perhaps come up with more ideas that promotes green with a more creative idea or concept marketing to promote the importance of it.
Actually, one thing is that they use environmental friendly techniques, and also that they look at renewable resources.
Customers would like to see more creative ways of promoting green logistics that could raise consumer awareness on the environmental issues that are directly or indirectly caused by their consumption of goods. To further supplement what the interviewees have said, we have come up with more solutions that companies can implement through their supply chain. For purchasing, companies can reduce their carbon footprint by purchasing materials from local or regional companies. They can set out stringent requirements for their suppliers and encourage them to implement sustainable practices by offering training and support as done by IKEA. Moving on to manufacturing, companies can increase their R&D efforts to create sustainable products through designs and develop more environmentally friendly manufacturing processes. Companies should also strive towards creating a closed-loop manufacturing process by focusing on the product's life cycle from cradle to grave. Next, with respect to distribution, companies can work to optimize product packaging to increase filling rates. That would allow companies to minimize the number of trips made. Finally, they can also consider the use of hybrid vehicles for deliveries. These vehicles run on both fuel and electricity, which can reduce fuel consumption and carbon emissions by as much as 30%. To complement this, companies can switch from road and jet transportation to rail transportation, which will further reduce their carbon footprint. By replacing 10% of long-distance freight that are currently moved by trucks with diesel trains, the potential reduction of carbon emission is equivalent to 2 million cars being taken off the road. To arrive at our conclusion, we have decided to answer the question on whether green logistics is a fact or a fad by considering various perspectives. Looking from an environmental perspective, green logistics is a fact because companies that engage in green logistics are able to create efficient and sustainable processes that benefits the company. With the possibility of reducing their ecological footprint, we believe that companies will be incentivized to implement green logistics for the long term. And from an economic perspective, green logistics is also a fact, because companies that engage in green logistics have been able to reap cost savings. The McKinsey Global Institute states that by implementing green logistics that allow the efficient use of energy and resources, it could result in cost savings of USD 2.9 trillion a year by 2030. With the possibility of generating cost savings, we believe that companies will be incentivized to implement green logistics for the long term. Finally, from a social perspective, green logistics is also a fact. Because companies that engage in green logistics are able to address consumers' increasing concerns about the environment. According to Nelson's 2014 survey, Doing Well by Doing Good, it is proven that more customers care about sustainability and are willing to pay extra to companies that are committed to positive social and environmental impact. With the possibility of establishing relationship with customers, we believe that companies will be incentivized once again to implement green logistics for the long term. To conclude whether green logistics is a fact or fad, we believe that companies are able to realize huge benefits from economic, social, and environmental aspects by investing in green efforts for the long run.
Hence, green logistics is more likely to be a fact than a fad.